on holiday retail sales, I spoke to Chris Christopher from IHS Economics. He's the director of U.S. and global consumer economics. I began by asking him how consumers are feeling about spending this holiday season.
Well, the U.S. economy is doing well in some aspects. The consumer markets is looking pretty good. Housing is looking pretty good. But of course, with a stronger dollar and a sort of slowdown in emerging markets, exports are not looking that great. In any area of the country that is dependent upon energy prices, things are a little rough.
So then the National Retail Federation is expecting an increase in spending, but not as large as an increase as we saw in 2014. Why is that the case?
Well, the NRF number is at 3.7%, and our number is at 3.5%. And last year is at 4.1%. So it's a pretty decent number. It's just not as strong as last year. Now, one big difference is that this year, prices year over year for goods and excluding food and energy are basically hanging in negative territory. So in real terms, it's actually looking very good. That means adjusted for inflation. These retail sales forecasts are done in nominal terms, so they don't take into account sort of the deflation we're sort of seeing on retail goods.
Well, and we obviously also have far lower gas prices. Is that going to put more money in people's pockets to be spending towards the end of the year?
Yes. Lower gas prices, and they are falling, and they should fall to under $3. I'm sorry, under $2 by the end of the year. That helps consumers feel a little bit better. In addition, it puts a little extra money. We estimate that 2015 compared to 2014 saved each household in the United States $600 to $700.
Yeah, that's quite a lot of Christmas gifts or Hanukkah gifts at the end of the year, $600 to $700. How important is the time from now until the end of the year for retailers?
For many retailers, it's almost make or break, and certain retailers are doing much better. Online is just booming. Grocery stores are having a hard time, and restaurants are doing very, very well and cannibalizing from grocery stores, basically because people have a little extra money and there's more people in the workforce and they're going out to eat more.
How about for the overall U.S. economy, though? We're basically in the fourth quarter. Are we going to see growth in the fourth quarter that we didn't see over the first 3 quarters of the year?
Well, consumer spending has been relatively strong. It wasn't very strong in the first quarter. It picked up in the second, and we do expect it to be relatively strong in the third quarter. The fourth quarter looks very good, around a little bit above 3% at an annualized rate. And there will be some parts of the economy, noticeably exports, those areas that are energy dependent, like West Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, North Dakota. They're going to have a little bit of a hard time because energy prices are low and their bread and butter is related to the energy markets.
In terms of holiday spending specifically, where do you expect most of it to go? Big ticket items, new technology, services?
Well, one thing that Americans are doing more and more, and this will play out during this holiday season, is they're buying their everyday clothing at sporting goods stores, and that should do relatively well. In addition, regular clothing stores should do well, and online will do very, very well. About 1 in 6 to about 1 in 7 holiday retail sales spending will be online, and that's where to look. It's on the cyber sales.
Interesting. So Cyber Monday should be something to watch this year. How important is inflation when it comes to retail spending?
Well, for consumers, this relatively modest inflation is very good. However, retailers are suffering a little bit because of this, because they want to charge a higher price and they're not able to. And that is sort of, we have a very good consumer outlook, but maybe retailers are probably going to take a little bit of a hit on their margins.
There's this really big credit card transition in the United States, going from swiping to chipping, which is something that the Europeans are already using, but there's no PIN. I'm wondering if you think that the mode of payment is going to have any impact on sales.
Well, yes, the mode of payment should not matter that much, as long as nothing happens. You know, if there's a big mishap, if you will, and that has happened in the past, that may create a bad taste in the consumer's, you know, mouth, for, if you will, and they might pull back from using their credit cards. However, one thing should be said: since the Great Recession, Americans are not using plastic that much, and that might not be the most important thing nowadays.